What if everything you see, hear, and touch is happening only inside your head? What if the entire universe, the stars, the sun, even your own body, is nothing more than a dream you are dreaming? This isn't mystical speculation. This is where modern science and philosophy have led us. Tonight, let us follow that path to its end and see what awaits us there. In our last exploration, we examined how Immanuel Kant revolutionized philosophy. He argued that we never perceive things as they truly are. We only perceive them as our minds construct them. The thing in itself remains forever hidden behind a veil of our own making. But here is something remarkable. Before Kant developed this philosophy, he wrote something very different. In 1766, Kant himself wrote that human beings are connected not only to the physical world, but also to a spiritual world. He said this connection would one day be scientifically demonstrated. He wrote that the human soul interacts with other souls, receiving impressions of which we are normally unaware. This could have been written by a theologian, and yet, 14 years later, the same man established a theory of knowledge that makes spiritual perception seem impossible. The philosophy that dominates modern thought was built on the later Kant, not the earlier one. Since Kant's time, science itself seems to have confirmed his view at every turn. Consider sound. What exists in the outside world when you hear a tone? Physicists will tell you, nothing but vibrating air, particles moving back and forth. That vibration enters your ear, strikes your eardrum, travels along your nerves to your brain. Only there, inside your skull, does it become what you experience as sound. If there were no ears in the universe, the world would be utterly silent. Not quiet, silent. Sound would not exist at all. There would only be moving air. The same applies to color and light. When you see the color red, what exists outside your eye? According to physics, nothing but vibrating ether, waves oscillating at tremendous speeds. Red is somewhere between 392 and 454 trillion vibrations per second. The quality you experience as color, the redness of red, the blueness of blue, that exists nowhere in the external world. It is created entirely by your eye and brain. The great physicist Hermann von Helmholtz said that what we perceive is not even an image of external reality. It is merely a sign, a symbol. The color red bears no resemblance whatsoever to 420 trillion vibrations per second. If there were no eyes, the entire universe would be pitch black, not dark. There would be no such thing as light or darkness at all. Only vibrating ether in empty space. Physiology adds further evidence. The physiologist Johannes Müller discovered what he called the law of specific sense energies. Each sense organ responds in its own characteristic way, regardless of what stimulates it. Strike your eye with your finger and you see a flash of light. Pass electricity through it and the same thing happens. The eye responds to everything with light and color because that is all it can do. The eye does not show you what is really out there. It translates unknown stimuli into its own language. Consider touch. When you place your hand on an object, what do you actually perceive? The object cannot enter your body. What happens is that movements in the object create movements in your hand, which travel along your nerves to your brain. Only there does the sensation of hardness or softness, warmth or cold arise. But here is something even more striking. The outermost layer of your skin, the epidermis, has no nerves. It feels nothing. So even when you touch something, you are separated from it by a layer of insensitive tissue. You never actually contact the outside world. You are enclosed within your skin, perceiving only the nerve impulses that occur inside your body. The same is true for vision. Light enters your eye through the cornea, passes through the lens, and finally reaches the retina at the back of the eye. There, chemical changes occur. What you actually perceive is not the light out there. You perceive a tiny inverted image on your retina, translated into chemical and electrical signals. Your brain then projects this back outward, creating the illusion that a world exists around you. The philosopher Schopenhauer drew the logical conclusion. The entire starry sky, he said, is created by you. It is a reinterpretation of stimuli that exist only inside your skull. If this is true, then what are you? Consider your own body. Your hand, which translates movements into touch sensations, is itself only a construct of your consciousness. You have never perceived your actual hand, only the mental image of it. Your brain, which creates all these sensations, is also only a mental image. Even if you could examine your brain under a microscope and watch sensations arise, you would still only be perceiving another image in your own consciousness. The philosopher Johann Gottlieb Fichte described where this leads. There is nothing permanent anywhere. Neither outside me nor inside me, but only incessant change. I know of no being anywhere, not even my own. There is no being. I myself know nothing at all, and I am not. Images are the only thing that exists, and they know of themselves in the manner of images. Images that float by without there being anything for them to float by. I myself am one of these images. This is illusionism, the view that everything inside and out is illusion. Dreams dreaming themselves. Kant did not intend to leave us here. He said he had to limit knowledge in order to make room for faith. He wanted to protect morality, God, and the soul from scientific attack by placing them beyond the reach of reason. He pointed to the moral law within us, what he called the categorical imperative. This sense of unconditional obligation, he said, must come from somewhere beyond the dream world of perception. Through it, we can believe in God, freedom, and immortality, even though we can never know them. But notice what has happened. The world has been split in two. On one side, a world of appearances that can be known but is not real. On the other, a world of moral faith that is real but cannot be known. This division runs through all of modern thought, and it blocks the path to spiritual knowledge at every turn. For what is the point of moral action if everything is illusion? What difference does it make what you do in a dream? The philosophers who followed Kant struggled with this. Fichte said we must act as if our moral striving were real, even though reason tells us the world is only dreams. Herbart said moral norms must exist independent of reason, because reason shows us only contradictions. But these are desperate measures, attempts to save meaning in a universe that has been drained of reality. No genuine theosophist could ever accept this division. For theosophy, there is one world, not two. From the lowest physical processes to the highest spiritual realities, everything is connected. What happens in matter is not different in kind from what happens in spirit, only different in degree. The path to spiritual knowledge runs through the world, not around it. We do not abandon reason to find the divine. We deepen reason until it opens onto higher perception. Kant divided what should never have been divided, and in doing so, he clouded the vision of countless seekers who came after him. But the structure he built, solid as it appears, rests on assumptions that can be questioned. Is it really true that we are trapped inside our skulls, perceiving only our own nerve impulses? Is it really true that the world of experience is merely subjective construction? Is the barrier between knower and knowness absolute, as Kant believed? These questions must be answered. And when they are answered correctly, the path to spiritual knowledge opens again. The seemingly solid wall dissolves. Not because we abandoned science, but because we complete it. Not because we reject reason, but because we follow it further than Kant was able to go. Rest now with these questions. The dream world of modern science is not the final word. It is a stage on a longer journey. And those who press forward find that reality is not less than what Kant imagined. It is infinitely more. Subscribe for more Rudolf Steiner sleep lectures.